So today we have Chat AI solution enriched with your own data. And I'm really hyped about this topic. And I'm also very happy that you joined today, because I think we have a lot of stuff to show, a lot of stuff to discuss, and a lot of things to learn. So today we want to learn about RAG, Ollama, and AI. And therefore, today's speaker... was one slide too much. Today's speaker, I'm Victor Getz. I'm the CTO and founder of iits-consulting. I mainly work with cloud infrastructure, Kubernetes, and I'm also responsible for setting up AI frameworks and to build the infrastructure for the AI tools. And I have limited knowledge about AI, and therefore I brought a very brilliant guy with me today. His name is Tim Delbrugger, Dr. Tim Delbrugger, which already 15 years ago talked about AI, wrote his bachelor, master thesis, doctor thesis about AI. We studied together, and so he knows a lot of AI, more than many other guys, I think. And I'm very happy that he's today in this talk, and he can answer all of your AI-related questions. So, some quick words about our company, which we are working for. So, some words about the company. iits-consulting was founded 2019. Initially, we made team as a service, but at the moment we offer also a lot of products. So we have our own IITS bootcamp where you can learn things how to code. We have also Sended tool, which you are currently in. It's a virtual office tool, it's multi-screen share. And it's a real virtual office tool. We have also IITS AI with LLM and RAG, which we will show today. And we are, I think, one of the most successful IT consulting startups of the last 4 years in Germany. From 2019 to now, 130 people joined our company. We made a lot of projects. We made a lot of AI projects. We made projects from petabyte of data to millions of users. And therefore, I think we have like a lot of experience in that area, and we are not some bullshit talker, but I think we did some really great things there, and we want to share the knowledge with you that you have today, or that you learned some stuff today, that you get also open source code from us, which you can take for your projects. So the agenda for today is use cases and success stories is the first part. So Tim will talk about AI and LLMs, what are LLMs good for, what other AI technologies exists. He will present use cases and success stories. Then we will have a Q&A session. So basically you can ask business related questions. So the first section is about business and about business questions, not very technical. Because we first thought I would just make a technical talk, but a lot of people came to me and said, can you not make it for business so that people can then afterwards understand what kind of use cases do I have inside my own company. Then later on, after the first part finished, who is just interested in the business part of the AI can then drop out, and then we go into the technical part where I will show you how to set up Ollama with RAG inside the Kubernetes cluster. We will talk about architecture, how you can enrich your LLM with your data very easily. We will have also live coding demo, so I will live code some things, and I will also share the open source code with you. So it should be very easily doable. So somebody who understands a little bit about Kubernetes and a little bit about Terraform, he should be able to make a replay. And then last but not least, we'll have also Q&A session for the technical part. So you can ask some questions technical related. So, and therefore I give over to Tim.
Yes, thank you, Victor, and a warm welcome to everyone also from my side. You can already read this nice quote here from Andrew Ng. He said, "It is difficult to think of a major industry that AI will not transform. This includes healthcare, education, transportation, retail, communications, and agriculture. There are surprisingly clear paths for AI to make a big difference in all these industries." He is really a leader worldwide in the AI industry, and I really like this statement because he says there are these clear paths, and this is also what we see. This transformation is already happening, not just in the hyped field of LLMs, but also in many other areas. AI is getting into the business, and I want to clarify this with a few more examples from our projects. Let's start at the top left. There is a smart building project that we are on, where we gather data from various sources, from the building management system, from the control system, from HVAC, and we use this to optimize the energy efficiency for individual buildings, but then also have a fleet-wide decision support system that suggests renting or leasing buildings in order to optimize costs, energy efficiency, and worker travel time. So this is not LLM based, this is optimization. Another very different example is, you see there down there, the left, on the fish detection. This was a requirement of an environmental agency in water power plants to count the fishes in videos that were trapped before the generators. So it was very important that not a human being has to sit there and count fishes individually in videos. So we developed this solution. It's a classic computer vision solution. And then, for example, we also had a roster optimization for pilots and crews, where we optimized the company's ability to fulfill clients' needs, optimize 3 days of pilots so that they are happy with their employment, and also take care of rest periods, health checks, simulated trainings, and so on. It's really a complex optimization problem, and it can be solved quite easily, for example, with evolutionary algorithms. And then we have power plant reliability engineers who come into the power plants and analyze incidents, and we built an AI tool for them to directly see similarities between various incidents from the past and also between power plants, so that they see patterns and can quickly solve issues and find root causes. This should give you an idea of how broad the area of AI is, and that there is much more than just LLMs. But today's talk should be about LLMs. So let's have a look at LLMs from a bird's eye view. What is an LLM? Well, first it gets an input that can be quite simple, just a string like the sky is, and this is handed to the large language model. And everything the large language model now does is create a probability for each word that could come now. So it could assign the word blue with some high probability. So you could say that the large language model now ends the sentence with the sky is blue. And if you do this repeatedly, it generates a whole text for you. So it is a text generator, quite simply. So it is kind of astonishing that this makes such a huge breakthrough. But as we've all learned, this is really amazing technology. So what is often referred to as the context window is important to understand, is the maximum length of the prompt. And what you need to understand is that large language models do not have a separate input or have some data that you can feed into it beside the prompt. No, everything needs to go into the prompt. So this context window size is really important. So this is really something that we have to work around when we are building systems with large language models. And the best thing with large language models is that they come ready to go. There's no training required. If you know machine learning from the past, you had to gather large amounts of training data. You had to train it for hours or days, and then you could assess it. But the good thing is, with large language models, you can directly use them. There is few-shot learning, where you give it 3 to 5 examples of what you want it to do, and in many cases, it just works. And why is that? Why do we have this breakthrough now? this is because of the attention mechanism. It was published in 2017. And this attention mechanism really is cool, and I want to give you a high-level intuitive understanding of what it is. So if you think back to school, when you learned languages, you kind of looked at the sentences and the individual words and the relationships between the words. You marked subjects, predicates, objects. You said, okay, this is a sub-sentence, this is a sub-sentence. And this very same structure is also analyzed by the large language model in this attention mechanism. And there is this very cool software called Dodrio. I encourage you to try it out. It's really amazing. That looks into the large language models and extracts these relationships. And there you can directly see how they analyze the texts and understand the texts. So what can we do with LLMs? What are they good for? So definitely they are good for tasks that a human can do with just a short explanation and a few examples. So if you can take some human from the street and give them a task, then a large language model can probably do it too. Tasks like understanding and extracting information from texts, summarize those texts, compare to different texts, mood sentiment, general style detection, they are really good at this. Also at adjusting the style. So if you want to send out maybe personalized individual letters to all your customers, you can do that with LLMs. You can generate also good-looking content for things like proof of concepts and so on. I am a software developer, I think, in terms of software engineering. And in past years, we have seen a lot of lorem ipsum texts and so on. Please don't do that anymore. Large language models give us much better tools at hand. And also what we see, what LLMs are very good for are code suggestions. Suggestions if you think of GitHub Copilot, for example. That works really good. But of course, there are also a lot of sites where you shouldn't use LLMs. For example, with regard to calculations and equation solving. We are used to computers being good at calculation, but LLMs from their structure are not really able to do so in a good way. So LLMs are not a calculator. Also, when it comes to medical advice or decision making, large language models have been trained on a lot of textbooks and the internet. So they've read a lot, but they don't know the outcomes in the real world and the implications. So ChatGPT is not a physician, and as a layman, it's hard to tell whether an advice is good or bad. So use it with caution. And also when it comes to decision making and also forecasting, then you should use LLMs maybe in combination with tools that are specialized for this case. So optimization models for decision making, regression models for forecasting, and those tools are fit for the job. LLMs are not fit for the job. And also LLM is not a SQL engine. That's also often not understood. If you just put a lot of data into a query, into the prompt, and asked an LLM about this data, it will not give you a complete picture of this data. So the good thing is that we can combine LLMs with specialized systems for such tasks. And this leads us to augmented generation, which basically means that we mitigate these limitations of LLM by building a system around the large language model where there are specialized services that can provide the functionality that the large language model has not, and also with the data that it doesn't have. And the result is then that the answer is generated by the large language model. It has all the benefits of a large language model, but it's enhanced with the additional information and with this additional accountability from the specialized services. One use case I would like to show you, it's one of our current projects. It's about broadband tenders. In Germany, each local authority must create their own broadband expansion tenders to get funded, which means that basically every city writes their own Word documents about what they would like to have. They reference some funding programs from the state or from the government of Germany, and all those tenders have to be screened by the telecommunication companies. And what they do, they extract some key facts and put them into a database to prepare further processes, prepare an evaluation, which tenders they want to participate in. And one employee needs multiple hours to extract these key facts for one tender. So you see, it's a lot of work for thousands of tenders. And we built a software where those tender documents are automatically analyzed, and those key facts are extracted. This is not a chat interface. Some people are just used to LLMs in this context of chat. But of course, we can also automatically chat with the large language model, and that's what we do in the background here. We directly extract these key facts so that the user doesn't have to ask for them. You just upload the data and you get your key facts within a minute. There is a possibility to do manual corrections, but it's not used so often. And the system, that is very important to us, can show the relevant sources for each key fact. So if the system, for example, said that one tender contains 2 parts, or 4 parts in this case, then the system can tell you where exactly in the original tender documents, which file, which line it got that information from, so that you can really rely on this information. And you know that the large language model doesn't just hallucinate this. Another small use case where we built a kind of FAQ bot for a logistics company. In this small example, we gave it the DHL terms and conditions, and we asked it, what are the DHL standard business hours? You see here, that's a simple chatbot. And because this chatbot has multiple data streams available, it first tells you, okay, which data stream did it connect to based on the question that we gave it. And it says, yes, that is based on the DHL terms and conditions. And it answers the standard working hours for DHL is blah, 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 8 to 18 hours. So looks correct. And we, of course, checked that in the original document. That looks fine. So this POC also worked very fine. And with that example, I would like to hand back to Victor.
Thank you very much. Guys, you need to switch one more time to me, to my screen. So I will share again. Yeah, that was really cool. And so we know what we can do with LLMs and we know what we can't do with LLMs. So this is very important to know. And also Tim makes also some courses about it where he teaches also AI teams how to properly distinguish between these both. So like between the technologies which should be chosen. So let's switch back to the topic, to the main topic. What made it so popular? LLMs was ChatGPT, and ChatGPT changed the way of how we work, and it changed our lives. So, but one thing, or like it has some flaws, and the flaws is ChatGPT has a problem with data privacy because it goes to US companies and nobody knows what's happening with your data. So for medical departments, for really private data, it is not suitable solution. or it cannot add also private data or like data in general from your hard drive or from your storage or for different storage device or from databases on a big scale to the LLM. This is also not possible. Therefore, we thought, okay, let's tackle this problem. So we set up on top of the open source LLM, and together with our developers, we developed a system which is working on top of Ollama, and it is able to do it to ingest their own data, like multiple data, gigabyte, terabyte of data, and that you can chat then with your documents. You are also you have the same functionality as ChatGPT, but everything is private. So, for example, you can run it on the Open Telecom cloud, fully encrypted, fully inside your infrastructure. You can choose which cloud you want to have, where we set it up for you. And also, you can have it on-prem if you want to. Your data is stored secure, encrypted, and private. Your data is not shared with US companies, so basically it does not leave your infrastructure. You can do a lot of things with the LLM, so you can also connect it to your software development tools like IntelliJ, for example. And also, which is very important, you can customize the data access rule based on your company account. So you have a single sign-on, and based on your roles inside your company, you can define, for example, that the developers cannot access the data from the finance department, for example, and vice versa. So you can define that the roles and the permissions. What did we do also? So I will say give you also the open source version of this thing, but we tackled also the problem of data ingestion. So how can we easily connect a lot of data, multiple data input streams, to give the LLM access to this data? So we set up on top of Airbyte, which offers already 300 pre-built containers. And there you can add your data on the UI level. So you need no software development experience, because, for example, Llama Index, and there's other tools which can do it on the Python level. But what about I want to have it every 4 hours? I want to have a retry mechanism. I want logging, monitoring, alerting, all the stuff. These are all the problems which the infrastructure solved already, and which, like Airbyte, for example, can take over for you, this kind of problems, and take care about that. If you need a special connector, you can also develop it. For our case, we also developed our own special connector to export the data into a vector database and to make the proper embeddings. You can add PDF, Word, Excel, CSV databases, everything by default. I will also show you, like a little bit later, full demo, how that looks like, and we will chat a little bit. So not just some marketing slides, but also real stuff, which I will show you. So what's the golden things which glues it all together? Because you say like, yeah, okay, it's a bunch of open source tools. So where's the benefit? So what we did, we have a IETS middleware between Airbyte and our vector database, and also between Ollama, like our LLM, and the user interface. So we have a very smart decision making AI middleware, which does not load all the data of the data which you have. It only loads the data which is relevant to the question. So you ask a question, based on the question, it decides which kind of data input stream and which data is important for this question. If you have gigabyte of data, it makes no sense to analyze all of the data. I know some AI companies are doing that, but that does not scale. Therefore, we take a look first which data is relevant for this question. And you can also choose between multiple LLM models, and you can make image generation. You can choose whatever you like. You can do it on your own, or you can hire us or like Tim's team to do it for you. So here's a demo, and I will show it also to you then live. So for one of our health clients, we made a proof of concept to build the application that should allow doctors to access the patient's information more quickly. For example, when did my patient had last time a headache? When I don't know, what kind of medication did it got last time? So the original document can be found here, if we click on that. Here. So this is the original document for the proof of concept. There were also a lot of other documents inside there, but we will take a look at this one and analyze and chat a little bit with this document, because Pamela Rogers needs now new medication, new diagnosis. So let's take a look what our tools did there. So this small video, I will also show it to you live afterwards, but it's a very good side-by-side explanation. So you can see on the right side, this patient is 56 years old, and she had hypertension 3 years ago. And here on the left side, you see our chatting tool. So how old is my patient? Pamela Rogers. And the patient's age is stated 56 years old. So this one is correct. Next question is, was Pamela Rogers diagnosed with hypertension? And yes, according to document 3 years ago. It's also correct because you can see it in the right bottom corner. What kind of treatment would you suggest for my patient, Pamela Rogers? And it gives you like a treatment plan. For sure, this one is not something which the doctor should take, but maybe it needs a second opinion, or maybe he's unsure at some point. So it brings a little bit more of certainty into the things. Okay. So you say, okay, this sounds really like marketing. Show me the real stuff. And this is what I will do now. So we go over here. This our LLM ITS tag. I'm already logged in. You can see it looks very similar to ChatGPT. And if you know Ollama, it looks also very similar to Ollama because it's built on top of Ollama. And here I can choose the model. What I did now, we built you a fully demo project. So this is the demo, which I'll show later also, which is open source. So you can set up the same stuff within around 1 hour. So what can you do here? Here you can upload some PDF files and add some things. This is very nice, but we want to have all of the data from our company. We want maybe to build an internal developer knowledge base where you can chat with your like source code, or you want to add the financial data, whatever documents you have. But in this case, we want to chat about data about Pamela Rogers. So first I go here, and where was it again? Make this one off. So I say, how old is my patient Pamela Rogers? Yeah, it says no information about Pamela Rogers. I don't know who that is. So we set on the flag again, and now it has access to all of our data, which we have imported. So we ask the same questions again. How old is my patient Pamela Rogers? 1, 2, 3. Mrs. Rogers is a 56-year-old woman. Was my patient... maybe I will make a better one. Because maybe say, okay, this sounds a little bit fake, because you have maybe just only the document. So Tim showed about DHL. So I will show you the question regarding this DHL. What is the maximum freight limit, weight limit for DHL? I hope that makes sense a little bit to the tool. It's 2,500 kilogram. Let's take a look if it's the right one. So we need to take a look here. You can see this is a huge document with 8 pages. Have fun to search for that. So yeah, maximum weight per shipment is 2,500 kilogram. So we have built up an internal knowledge base, and also it has medical documents. Normally, if you would do it for your use case, you would not mix up this information, but it has some really cool stuff. You can also dictate here something, so it makes speech to text. You can change also here the models which you want to use. You can also use here Hugging Faces, and file mode or URL mode. So it has a lot of functionality. If you would like, for example, order our service, then we will fully customize this UI for you. So it could look like, I don't know, like a banking software. It could look like a Sparkasse, whatever you want. So we have a dedicated UI UX company which can make the UI UX look like whatever you want. For example, for the broadband project which Tim showed you, it looks completely different. Okay. So Yeah, the very important thing which I forgot. So how does the data get insight? And this is the very juicy part. So I switch over here. It's called Ollama. I'm on the wrong page. I'm sorry for that. It's Airbyte LLM IETS Tech. So first we have a single sign-on through our Azure ID or Microsoft account, which normally works also with MFA, but I'm logged in already previously, therefore I don't need to make MFA again. And you can see here, you have a lot of sources. So I go to sources. So how do I ingest my data? I just go here and choose something. So I don't know, Google News. I want to have S3 bucket. I don't know, everything what you can find here, you can edit. Google Drive, what's there? Oh, Postgres, for example, if you want to have Postgres. Salesforce, I think, is also there as a connector. So you connect, add the data. So I'll show you example, S3. So you give in here the optional fields like secrets, what you have there. And then after you did that, you go here, say new connection, click on the S3 bucket, say the destination is IETS AI, and all your data will be imported. So you can see it, for example, here. It was imported here a day ago. This is the job history because here, for example, I canceled it. But you can see every day the data is synced. You can define it as however you want that. So this is how the data gets inside. So it's very easy to ingest there a lot of data. And based on this kind of connectors, which I have here, our question chooses which kind of data input stream is the correct one to answer my question. So it's a very brilliant thing, which the Tim's team did. I'm sorry. So that was the showcase, and therefore we are on the end of the first part, and the second part would be the technical things, where we go over to the open source version, where we show you how to set up for yourself on the open source version. Are there any questions so far?
Yes, hello. Thank you, Victor. I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Tim said the LLM needs a prompt size, a big size of a prompt, how much stuff goes into the prompt, and then this decides about the outcome. Is it that your connectors, the Airbyte connectors, that they use the connection to the providers to fill in the prompt, to fill the data into the prompt, or is it? Yes, so it's not an extra data LLM training there. It's just
yes, correct. There's no extra training involved. It's just that we previously search for the right data that is relevant to the question and inject this data into the prompt and give it to the large language model.
You have many layers, because you said that you use. You first query the question and then decide based upon the question which data is queried. That's nice. Cool.
Yeah.
Great.
We're working also on the validation. So basically, you ask you have the question. Based on the question, you decide which data input stream is the right one. Then you answer the question, and they validate also the question, the answer again. So I heard that was on the next agenda. And also what we want to work on also to show then inside the UI, where does the answer come from? Because what I showed you now is, it's the answer, but from which document does it come? Or in which kind of line in the PDF, or for example, does it stand? So we have it in the other project. We implemented it already. We just need to take it over now to the global system.
Okay, that's nice. Can I ask another question? Mm-hmm. In my use case, I want to use a German language. Do you have experience with this? Because Ollama is not trained with it, and would you say to use some translator, DeepL also, or do you have experiences?
Mm-hmm. I heard like some small birds whispered there is like a big company in Germany which will provide in the future a German language model.
Yes, I'm waiting for this.
So basically, I need to clarify with this big company if I can give you this answer, but just stay a little bit tuned and there will be a large language model in German language. Currently, my results, which I experienced and tried it out, was very bad. The translation was also bad. So it was okay-ish, but some translation were a little bit weird, I need to say.
Yeah. I think it also depends largely on the texts. So some texts are really translated very well by DeepL, for example, and I would have no problem trying that out with Llama 2, for example. What you mentioned, Ollama is just a user interface. Ollama isn't a large language model itself. It's just the interface, and you can pull in various Llama 2, for example, as a large language model in the background. And the problem is Llama 2 is just English-based and it cannot really deal with German language. If you use ChatGPT, for example, it has no problem with German language. But for example, for the reliability engineer project, we are translating various languages into English first and then use natural language processing to analyze this data, and it works okay.
Okay, thank you.
Although you have to be careful with specifics in the language, because what we learned is that reliability engineers write texts that are not really near to the standard language. They have lots of abbreviations and so on. So it really it comes down to it depends on your texts.
All right, thank you.
Any more questions? If you have other questions, you can also write me email or something like that. Or if you have some other interests or want to discuss some use cases or something like that, just write me. Okay, then otherwise we would jump now to the second part, which is the technical part. For everybody who's just interested in use case, success stories, and the business related things, can just drop out just out of the meeting because it will get now technical. And we will talk about infrastructure now and how to set up Ollama. So I want to teach you half hour at max, and then you have your own stuff up and running. So this is my goal. So what I showed you now, without the ingestion with Airbyte, so basically the middleware, the custom middleware which we're providing, it's not open source, but everything else is open source. But so the basic Ollama setup with Airbyte and VV8 as a vector database, you should have up and running in a half hour. And I will show you now how to do it. So let's go forward. So if you use, some more question? No?
Yeah. Okay. So I have one quick question. So have you tried using it to analyze the process model using languages like PBMN 2.0, or this is some of the, because I'm coming from a process management background. So have you tried using this or have any use cases from that?
Did you understand, Tim? Or?
I am not sure if I understood it correctly. Do you mean if we use large language models to analyze BPMN models and so on?
Yes. For example, if I have a process model diagram and I want to ask some questions to the model, like who's responsible for doing this activity or that sort of, because BPMN standard, whatever modeling standard, I believe it can be converted to an XML.
Yeah, that's also what I thought. So basically what we did, we built up an internal knowledge base. So all of our GitHub accounts, GitHub code, GitLab code, we now ingest into one. So we can say like, what's the ITS standards for creating Kubernetes ingress resources or something like that. That should work without a problem. Yeah, I would suggest you just give it a try, make a replay what you see now, and then just export all the data to XML, import it, and then you should be able to do that. Would be my understanding. Or what do you think, Tim?
So first of all, we didn't try it out yet, but I would also say give it a try and try to give the large language model very precise examples. So within the prompt, you can have the prompt first, and then you have some delimiter, and then you can give it examples, and you can give it some specific examples and tell it, okay, if this would be written in the XML, I want you to output this here. And just give it 5 examples maybe, and give it a try. And tell us how it went.
That will be perfect. I already sent the connection request via LinkedIn, so maybe we'll try and keep in touch and let you know how things go.
Cool. Found already an awesome use case. Okay, guys, let's switch over to the technical part, and later on we can have also a long discussion because open-end discussion. Let's go to the technical things. We have Ollama with a RAG service architecture. So first I want to start which kind of services are here into the big picture, which kind of services do we need to connect to each other so that it works. In the basic setup, you have like a user, you have Ollama web UI. This is the user interface which you saw from me, where I chat with the HL documents. And also you have the Ollama, where the language model runs on. So this is the basic thing, but there's no RAG inside there. So basically you can upload some manual, some single document or 2, 3, 5, but you cannot add gigabyte of data. So therefore, we did the following. So this is the kind of setup which we use for IITS AI. We have here Airbyte. Airbyte connects to these multiple input streams, PDFs, databases, and many more. Then Airbyte, with a custom connector, it dumps the data into the vector database, and we have a custom middleware which then makes the decision making. So with this flag, use VV8 data, if it pushes to on, then it goes over our custom middleware, which makes then the decision which kind of data needs to be pulled and then needs to be transferred. It makes this decision for sure based on Ollama. Ollama changes very much. So my personal opinion is, if you take, for example, Aleph Alpha, they will not compete with Ollama, I think, in the long run, because Ollama and this Llama stuff is like evolving so fast. I did it in the 1st of January, 2nd of January. I made like a new release, and now like 3 weeks later, it looks completely different. It's like a lot of new stuff happening. So that's why I was set on my horse, or better on my llama, is Ollama, which I was set on, because the development speed and the productivity there is really amazing, I need to say. Okay, let's take a look about the infrastructure, because somewhere Ollama needs to run, and we need our AI power inside the infrastructure. How do we do it? So if you watch some other videos of me, then most probably you know it. We are fans of Terraform, and so we set up the infrastructure with Terraform. You can choose whatever you want. In this case, I use Open Telecom Cloud. So we have here the DNS part, we have the load balancer part, and the Kubernetes cluster. And we have an empty Kubernetes cluster then. So this is some basic things which you need there. And then comes the GPU node pool. So we need GPU power, and we also split the containers. So non-GPU containers which don't need GPU power run on the normal Kubernetes node pool, and just only Ollama, or if you have a Python middleware or something like that, then this stuff runs on the GPU node pool. For sure, everything runs on the Open Telecom Cloud, because there is private, it's secure, and this is a German cloud. So this is the best case for sensitive data. If it's medical data or data privacy is really needed. So therefore, I would recommend Open Telecom Cloud. So then we have the Kubernetes part, because we want to have like a scalable product there. So in the Kubernetes part, we have a Helm Terraform provider, which then deploys some basic infrastructure related things. For example, we need the traffic, we need load balancing, we need to define where our traffic should go to. We have a Kyverno. Kyverno is a rule engine, so it ingests automatically in every deployment the Docker image pull secret, so that you're allowed to pull from Docker. or from private registry or from wherever we want. We need certificates for our domains because we want to have HTTPS. Therefore, we use the chat manager. And for sure, security is important for us. And therefore, we have storage classes, which by default are encrypted. So everything what we store inside our cloud is encrypted by default. And then for sure we need all the stuff which I showed in the previous slide. We need Ollama Web UI, the VV8, Airbyte, and the custom middleware, but the custom middleware will be not included in the open source stuff. But nonetheless, we will be able to do a lot of things, and I will also now show you how it looks like and how does it work. So time to code and time to prove that we can do it. So what I made the domain which is called refactor IITS Tech. Sorry, I had not so much time to choose a properly domain name, but you can see there is nothing running on it. So there is a GitHub project. You can find it here under iits-consulting. There is OTC Terraform template. And there is a specific branch which is called Ollama's RAC. I posted it also in the meetup group. And there's a step-by-step guide how you can set it up on the Open Telecom Cloud. So preparation and requirements. You need a Docker account. What do you need to go? I need to go into this folder. I need to make Terraform init. I need to make Terraform apply. I need to execute Terraform. So it's really step-by-step, and it should be really easily doable. I did it today with a client. This completely walkthrough, and it took 1 hour or something like that. Then we were completely able to set everything up and running, and we had like a very performant and good setup running. So,
is it? One question: is it possible to run it on my local MacBook or something like this, or I need cloud?
It is possible if you have some Minikube running, but if you want to have it on your local machine, I would recommend you just use the Docker instance. If you want to have more, if you want to have like Airbyte or VV8, then I would set up a Minikube. I did it also in Minikube first, and afterwards I switched over to cloud. So that's also possible. You can also set it up also in Azure, Google Cloud, or whatever. So just check out this.
Also for trying out, it's also nice to just use Ollama on your local machine.
Exactly. This is like if you go into like you want to give access also to other people and work as a team on it, and also develop some AI stuff based on that, or make some customizing, or you need more GPU power. So you can see here there's OTC Cloud Dev. Here, this is the Open Telecom part. As I showed before, you need CCE. CCE is called Kubernetes Cluster in Open Telecom Cloud, and the CCE GPU node pool. So we have GPU nodes, and we have also normal nodes. I did it before because otherwise it will take a little bit of time. So it would take like 15 minutes from our time, and that's not, we don't have so much time. Therefore, you can see here I have 4 nodes. 3 of them are normal nodes, and 1 of them is a GPU node. Inside the Kubernetes part there, we are cloud independent, and also you can do it on Minikube. So here we have the things which are shown also on the right side of the PDF slide, of the PowerPoint. So you have here Ollama, you have Kyverno, you have custom resource definition, you have here the chat manager, and let's apply it. I would just make Terraform apply because it will take like 5 minutes that it will apply. So let's set it up. So the first step, like how to do like Kubernetes cluster and stuff like that, you should be able to do on your own. I think it's not a problem. If you work on some other cloud providers, maybe take a look at our YouTube channel. There's, I think, some guidelines also how to do it for other clouds. So I think I'm not logged in, most probably. So I'm sorry for that. So I'm now logged in. I get myself the access token. I'm also working every time with temporary AKS key. So cd OTC Cloud Dev. I need to source the stage dependent info. Yeah, no resources in the LLM namespace, and we can also see pods minus A, that we have almost nothing running. So there's just Everest driver and some leftovers from Set Manager from my previous run. Here you can see there's a lot of Helm charts what you want to deploy. You don't need to configure much. The only thing what you need to configure is inside this values.yaml. So here the domain name you need to set, but you will also do it over Terraform. So you just need to maybe replace this part. That's basically. But there's a full guideline how to do it on GitHub. So I press yes. And then let's see if our containers are coming online. You can see also here is the NVIDIA GPU device. I used a very small device, so we will have exactly the same setup, which I showed you previously. So when we chatted with documents, you can see here already Ollama, Web UI and Ollama is coming online. To show you where does this chart come from. These charts are coming also from open source because we have here the iits-consulting open source charts. And here, if you go inside there is the section for Ollama. Here it gives you a description also how to deploy it and what kind of variables are there. So if you want to deploy it, so this is where the stuff is coming from, but I would just use the Terraform template, which I showed you before. You can see traffic is coming online. Traffic is equivalent to Nginx, so it takes care about the routing. Ollama takes normally a little bit more time to boot up because it just needs a little bit more time. But Ollama is now online. Web UI is online. All of the pods looking good now. So let's go back to our domain. So refactor ITS tech. I'm not logged in. Yeah, sure, because I need to sign up first. So my name is Victor Getz. The first initial user which you create with the Ollama Web UI is the admin account. So I create in, and voila, we have Ollama up and running, open source. So let's go here and no, this one not. I want to have a model because I need to select the model first because we need to download one. Mistral 7B is a small one, but makes a decent job. So pulling. That was a little bit too fast for 100%. I was a little bit surprised, but no, this one looks good. It pulls the model. Now it validates it, most probably needs a little bit of time. As you can see, it's exactly the same stuff which I showed before. Yeah, verifying. Then can we select? Yeah, we can select here. So 7B, and yeah, tell me a fun fact. Yeah, works. So we have our own stuff running. Maybe I think coding would be better. Show me code snippet. Yes. So this one works also. Nice. So our developers, what they did, they connected their IntelliJ installation with our private LLM. So if you're maybe a software development company or if you have software developers, you can just use your private LLM and connect it to IntelliJ and other tools. Then you don't need OpenAI anymore. And then you have also no violation about data privacy. Yeah, now we set up everything up. So here you can click also upload some documents. And yeah, how do we add like Airbyte and Viviate? How do we bring like data inside there? It's pretty easy. So you just need to go here, command this thing out in, and this thing out, and then you will get exactly the same stuff which I showed you before. So you have for Airbyte. So then if you go to Airbyte, refactor ITS tech, you will see it then. This is just a caching. So there is nothing behind it because we didn't deploy it yet. So if I make now cd Kubernetes, Terraform apply. If we would apply it, then it will give us also Airbyte. But it will take another 5 to 10 minutes. And unfortunately, we ran out of time already. Therefore, I would skip this part. If you do it on your own, you can just comment this one in and deploy it. But this is not anything, very interesting anymore. So this was it. And then we come to the last part.
Question?
Mm-hmm.
Time for QA.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
You mentioned IntelliJ connection with this thing. Where I can do this in IntelliJ? Can you show this? You just mentioned it, but
unfortunately, we have over 130 people. I just heard it, but I did not do it by myself. But I will ask the person. I will just look in Slack who posted that, and I will give you then a guideline. I'll put it in Meetup then if it's okay for you, like a description how he did it.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, because you can build up your own knowledge database, because you can connect your private GitHub, GitLab. I don't know if you have some buckets, some information, how you code, the coding guidelines, and like the junior developers can just ask then your chatbot, like, what are our standards? What are our best practice? What's our definition of done inside the company? And this is also something which I want to have as a founder. So I want to pull all of the data. We have RGB and stuff like that, all of the like rules and stuff what we have inside the company. I want to gather it all in the LLM, then define roles, and based on role-based connection, roles-based access, I want to define who can see which data.
Yeah, and I think we are really just at the beginning of what is possible here. Just if we think about software engineering, when a developer posts the code and others review it, I think there will soon be much more tools that automate this process in a way that a large language model first has a look at the code, and not just as static code analysis like SonarQube was before. It was really bad. I think this will get really, really good very soon. And also in all the other fields, whenever someone writes texts to customers, for example, or just text that go to the outside of the company, I think all those texts will soon be analyzed and checked for clarity, for style, and so on. So I think a lot of use cases will come from this, and getting all the information of a company together in such a way, it's I don't know, kind of breathtaking. I mean, it was a few years ago that I think it was from a BMW boss who said, if only BMW knew what BMW knows. And today we get the tech to do just that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we could just show you a subset, because we have also a lot of projects where we're not allowed to show the things. So these are just open information or like dummy information which we showed you. The private projects we are not allowed to share with you. So there's a lot of more things what you could do. But I think it gives you a good impression and idea what you could achieve. Okay, any more questions?
No, thank you very much, Tim, Victor, for this, for your time and all the information. So I will try out the process thing. And you already mentioned some of the use cases that I'm already need, like what the definition of done, what are the rules and responsibilities, who's responsible for that. So yeah, I will try these things out, and we'll have a chat.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Cool. Thank you very much. Okay, guys, then I wish you a nice evening. Thanks for joining, and I hope in the future we will have more frequently talks about IITS stuff from the development part or from AI. So stay tuned.
Definitely. And thank you for all the nice questions. Really cool.
Thank you. Bye-bye.